You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
I'm here with a well-known advocate, hunter slash fire, what would you say, fire rescue, firefighter?
Firefighter EMT.
That's badass, man. How long you been interested in that?
I started back in freshman of high school. We had that service learning project, and I just picked the fire department ever since then. I've just grew and took my classes that I needed to take, and just step up, and keep moving up in the fire department.
So before we get into, your amazing little life journey that you've had so far at the young age in your 20s, but I'm here with Tyler Hall, who's a pretty interesting guy. He's one of my close friends from high school. What I wanted to get into first, so I guess we might as well just knock out the firefighter thing. So that was a passion you picked up. Is there any reasoning behind that, like being a kid and just wanting to really chase down the physical aspect of like basically being a superhero? Because what they do is ever on a day-to-day basis is something a lot of people can't do.
Yeah, as a little kid, I was pretty fascinated, the fire trucks and all that. But I grew up around it. My grandfather, he was a chief and a president. My uncles and stuff there in the fire department. So I grew up around it. So pretty much just like, yeah, let's just try it out and see how it is. And it's not what everyone really thinks. It's not, oh, we'll get on the fire truck and go into a fire and do all that. There's a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff that goes on with training and fundraisers, and pretty much it's just like another family is what the fire department really is.
Well, yeah, you're in such a close group of guys, basically. When you start out like through high school and then spending these years with these people, you grow big relationships with every single one individually.
Yeah,
and you're trusting your life into their person beside you arms. It's the same thing when you go over to a military or something, mm-hmm. and you're going into combat with these guys. You're basically going into combat with
pretty
these
much.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
And the amount of training it takes, the amount of concentration and like effort that a lot of people don't really realize. They think that it's just some dude running into a fire and just having the strength to do that. It takes smarts. You got to know how long you need to be in there. You need to know you need to know all your entrances and exits when you come into the fire. First of all, knowing that if you go into this house, you might not have the same exit as your entrance was.
Yeah, it's a lot of split-second decisions. It's life or death. But pretty much when we go up to any fire, we don't know what we're going to have. When you go up, you're going into a house you've never been into. So you're physically and mentally and everything got to be prepared, and you're literally going in blind. You can't see nothing to start off with the smoke and everything. But on top of that, it's a new environment. You don't know what to expect. You don't know the layout.
So you're in constant fear when you're in there, not just for the dangerous fact of the fire, but also what could go wrong, if something could explode, and just that fear. A lot of people don't think about that, though, when they enter into a fire. And as a firefighter, you got to think what's basically on their mind is who's in this house, how many people are in here, what's the easiest way to get out if I get stuck. That's like the first two things.
Yep.
But out of all the factors, it's the same thing when you're driving, too, and you got to realize that there's other people on the road. Your car could break down. Your car could do something. Like there's always something that can go wrong. And as a firefighter, the strength it would probably take just to keep that out of your mind has got to be a little difficult of a challenge.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, but pretty much when we're on the way to a call, the adrenaline's rushing. The only thing we're thinking about is getting there, doing what we got to do, make sure everyone goes home safe.
What's the first thing you do when you roll up onto a fire call?
Well, it all depends really on if it's your first due, or if you're assisting another company, and pretty much where you're sitting on the engine. So right now I'm with Shao, so if we would get a house fire right now, I would be on the first two engine out. We always go out with at least 3 to 4. So you have the driver, which is going to be the guy pumping your car. You got your officer, which is going to tell you how to get there, tell the guys their assignment, and pretty much he's going to take command of the scene is what the term is. And what you're going to do when you take command is you're in charge of everybody. You can be in charge of 4 guys or 40 guys, and you all have to be on the same page. Usually, we get there. As soon as we pull up, we're all paying attention. We decide, all right, well, we got to do this, this, and this. All right, well, if the door's not open, we got to go. We got to force entry, and by the time I'm forcing entry, the other guy that was on the engine with me, he's already pulling the hose to have the hose there. So as soon as it gets open, we're in there, and we're attacking the fire aggressively.
What's the best part about being in the fire department? Just the group of guys you get connected with, or the satisfaction of being able to help somebody that doesn't?
I gotta say, probably for me, it's probably just to step back and look, and just the satisfaction of actually helping people, and just seeing the reaction, the smiles, everything like that. Because, last night we actually did our Santa rides, and the little boy, Max, that lives in here in Ocean Pines, he's like 5 or 6, he has cancer, or leukemia. And so we did our Santa ride, so we stopped here first. We all brought, we all got him a little gift and stuff like that, and we had Santa give it to him. And he was speechless. And it was we all just step back and say, look, this is why we do what we do. Not to go fight fire and all that, but just to do little things like this in the communities.
To make somebody smile, It's tough, especially when somebody's house is burning down, for them to, when they're in the middle of this hysteria, to, be able to be comforted by the fact that they know that there's someone out there that is doing all they can possibly do and working as hard as they possibly can just to make sure that everyone's safe, they're okay, everything's good, and there's no more danger. And those some fires can last hours, man. You're sitting there battling it out, fighting it. You're fighting an element that has been around longer than basically anything.
Pretty much.
It's like we take it for granted. Let's say that it's helpful in a lot of ways, and it's also it's mostly destructive.
It's mostly destructive on just anything. Anything fire touches, it's going to be destroyed.
Now, have you talked to anybody or seen anybody physically really hurt from one of these fires?
I have not, and that is a really good thing. Usually most of the fires we run, everybody's out of the house. There's not really a lot of search and rescue like what would probably happen up in like New York or something like that, or Baltimore, closer to home, up around there, which that's a really good thing. I'd much rather show up to a house and everybody be out, because that's one less thing that we got to worry about searching for someone. So all we got to worry about is putting the fire out instead of having, to put other firefighters at risk to go in and search for them. Because it's just...
But a major heads up, that's not belittling the fact just because you work a small town that, might not have as many fires or as dangerous as fires as somewhere that's, more heavily populated. That does not belittle...
It can happen anywhere.
Yeah, that does not belittle anything from being a firefighter, no matter where you are, no matter how many fires. In Aspen, Colorado, there's people that set their dumpsters on fire on accident because they don't know how to properly put out their fireplace. They throw all the ash inside the dumpster and it lights the trash on fire. So all they're really doing up there in this mountain area is just putting out dumpster fires. That's got to get annoying, but at the same time, something as small as that and as dumb as that,
they can turn into something really large.
Yeah, each one of them, it's like you're having a chess match, man. Who makes the first move? Usually it's the fire, and then you got to decide, what can I do to eliminate this without, the least damage possible.
Pretty much, yeah. That's our motto: don't destroy, recover.
I bet every single smoke alarm in your house is probably up to date, right? If you got fire extinguishers, probably in every single room.
Yeah.
See, now if you check a normal person's house, I guarantee you half of that stuff is not up to date.
It's just a firefighter, you just see all this stuff happening, so you just look, I can be prepared. I know what I got to do.
Well, at the same time, it's like when I started doing HVAC and started learning a little bit about what can go wrong, about like, I came home and first thing I did was check my AC unit. Like, all right, let's see what I learned some of this today. I actually know what this is. I'm not just staring at something and hitting it with a wrench. Like, you start kind of figuring out, and then when something's not right, especially refrigeration wise, like if you open up the fridge, it's making a loud buzzing noise or something, and all you got to do, maybe somebody just covered something up or something's too frosted over in one of your freezers, and then you got to fix that. It's the same thing. You probably came home doing your fire school and fire training, and you were like, I learned this today, and we've been doing this wrong. If you could tell anybody that was willing to just know a couple things on the basics of fire safety, besides like the stuff they teach you in school, I mean, how effective are those fire alarm drills at school? They don't seem like they're that effective.
They're really effective. Just last week, Ocean City Elementary, they had that roof fire. Everyone got out within a matter of a minute and a half. Everyone was safe. It's always better to be prepared and be ready than not know what you're doing when the problem does come up.
They just seem like, I feel like that should be something we should put more time and effort into than just taking 5 minutes out of the day, like once every couple of months, just to check up on. I think it's something that they should at least do a good hour of fire school training. Like, you remember the DARE program we had, the guy against drugs? That definitely educated people more about drugs, but I felt like it was more like pushing them to do it, because he listed all the things like,
oh, that's nice.
Hey, this is, this is crack. If you try it, you'll get super strength, and also this could happen to you. It's like you're telling little kids this, they're going to hear the super strength part, not all the bad habits and all that stuff. They stop listening.
They just look at the good side,
They should definitely have more fire drills, first of all.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the bus evacuation. That's the worst thing. You're in a car accident. How many car accidents have you come across and you've had to use the jaws of life, that giant machine that has to rip apart just to pull the person out of the car?
Within the past 6 months, I've been on 4 in the past 6 months.
Has there been, all the time you've known to be like into the fire program, have you come across any major accidents that have been like, I mean, I know Car Week down here, you have to see some stuff, because I see car accidents, I feel like every time, or you feel like that's more of a law enforcement type issue?
Not really. I mean, if it's a motor vehicle accident, it's a motor vehicle accident. We're getting dispatched. I mean, just like a fire. I mean, you just think fire department, we don't just run fires. It's, we run accidents and water rescues and all this other good stuff.
Water rescue?
Yeah, like out here, no ponds or anything like that, or if, someone goes out there swimming, can't swim, or goes out on the ice and falls down, we train to do that.
Do you have boats and stuff too that go out?
Yep, we got little aluminum john boats and stuff like that to go out in like these little creeks and stuff that we have just in case something happens.
So what's the worst thing you've probably come across as a firefighter? Like to the point where it kind of shook you up when you came home. It didn't have to be something that happened to you or something you heard about that just kind of stays on your mind sometimes.
Probably. There's been a couple accidents, especially with motorcycles. It's you in the road. I mean, there's no airbags, no nothing.
Yeah, that's what scares me when people go freak out about wearing helmets and stuff. You know how perceptive people have to be when they're on those motorcycles? You have to be aware of everything.
Helmets to save your life.
That dude last year that got hit, that hit the back of that truck and got split right in half in the middle of the road. People just saw that. It was like, yeah, that happens because nobody's paying attention. There's somebody that you always have to be alert. You should always be
vigilant and looking around and worried and all that. Now the helmets, they are a big help to those motorcycle riders. Not those little small like skull caps that just sit on top. No, like an actual good helmet, because I've seen people with their heads busted open.
I mean, you got to think. It's like, what's that bandana covering between your skull and the road?
There's nothing.
You're hitting cement or gravel. It's like you want something protecting your head out of all.
I mean, you're going 65, 70 miles an hour, and you hit something, that's just a sudden take up. And I can tell you right now, nothing's going to give. You going 70 miles an hour, run into the back of a truck. I know what's going to win that battle.
That truck's going to win that battle,
that
especially
truck,
if it's a Ford.
Nah.
What are you, a Dodge fan?
Nah, Chevy.
Chevy? Oh, God.
Chevy.
We should pop off saying Toyota or something.
Nah, no one wants a little Yoda.
Yeah, little Yoda. But it's the fact that people are so careless. I've interviewed a couple of bikers, and, you know, this one woman in particular was talking about, like, I was asking her, I was like, I know some of these guys, like, they just weave in and out of cars and stuff. And she goes, yeah, those people are assholes. I'm like, that does make sense. But there are people that feel like they are invincible when they get on a motorbike. Yep. I mean, mostly kids our age feel like they're invincible, especially when you see them come down here for when we have car week and you see all those little fast, little souped up cars.
You see them little H2I cars, and even during cruising week, you see all these young kids with their dad and grandparents, you know, their old 65 Chevy Chevelle or whatever, you know, just doing burnouts, acting all stupid.
How scary is that for you if you have to go to a fire call and there's some person in front of you texting, not paying attention, or there's all these, like, this traffic where you can't get by?
Happened plenty of times. I mean, so we got the siren and air horn for and all that. I mean, you just got to go. I mean, there's people that, you know, the move over law and all that, they're supposed to get over and let us go.
And they don't.
Lights. Nope, they don't. They're not paying attention. We get on them, hit our air horn. I mean, it's just like they just think we're another car. I mean, and then when you go by, I mean, we've been flicked off going past people going to a call. You know,
if I was you guys, I'd be the cool ass fire department where I start flicking them off back. But you got to be respectful even in that situation.
We got to be respectful. I mean
you're
look, I mean, we're going down the road. It has our name and everything on it. I mean, it's a billboard. We're a moving billboard. Whatever we do reflects back on us.
And you're showing kind of like
we're just
you're our state's fire department. You're representing.
We're just representing our fire department.
It's a moving billboard.
Pretty much. I mean, no one wants no bad rep at all. That's anybody.
And
I mean,
how bad are people towards you? Like, when it comes to, like, you hear about all this stuff where everyone's always complaining the cops suck, the cops are this, the cops are that. Is there anybody really complaining about the fire department? I'm like, you're not
really. Really, the only time people really complain, you know, the house catching on fire. Why can't you get here sooner? Why can't you do this? Why can't you save that? Why can't you do this? Well, yeah, I think we're not a career. We're not sitting around the firehouse, you know, like this career companies. You can get out within a minute. I mean, we're a volunteer company. I mean, sometimes, I'll be at my girlfriend's house in West Ocean City, and we get a call, and I leave West Ocean City to go all the way back to Shao. I mean, that's a 15, 20-minute ride. I mean...
That's got to suck when you're in the middle of, like, something like a family thing, and you got to get out of the house. Like, I need to go right now. It's like, dinner just came out of the oven. You're like, I'm sorry, well...
That's happens plenty of times. I mean, we're sitting there getting ready to eat dinner, 6, 7 o'clock. We get toned out. Boom, house fire. Boom, I don't get home 11, 12 o'clock that night. Don't eat no dinner, you know, you're hungry, and you just go home, get a shower, and you just pass out. It's exhausting.
You don't really have a day off, do you?
Not really. I work, you know, with the Worcester County in the maintenance department, and then on top of that, I do this on the side as a volunteer, and I'm a second lieutenant right now. Come the new year, I was voted in and got elected as captain. So pretty much it's just I'm always, you know, figuring stuff out. People always come to me, hey, what should we do about this? Or, hey, this is broken on this piece of equipment. All right, we'll take it off, switch it off, you know. It's a never-ending job. You never stop learning. You never stop training. And it's just always, everything's just constantly moving. It's a lot to balance.
Does it ever scare you that one day you might come across something that might be your fault and it might change you? Because, I mean, you're pretty positive, and it seems like you've obviously been educated into the field of fire department, but it's like, at the same time, like, you see those guys that are older that have been through some stuff. Like, imagine being a firefighter that had to go in on the 9/11 things, or, like, a major national tragedy. Those guys are messed up, like...
They are messed up, but what we do is, no matter how bad a call is, we all go back and joke around and just take the positives from it. The negatives, what we do, it's hard. Pretty much what we do, we lock them away. We try and lock them away. And that's the best thing we can do. I mean, we lock them away, we BS and, you know, all this other stuff, you know, just laugh and enjoy, carry on. I mean, that's all we can do after a bad call. I mean, it's hard. I mean, we all know it's in the back of our heads, but we all try and forget it and just learn from it and just take the positives from it.
I'll never forget, I saw on one of your... you put up a picture or something, I don't know if it was Instagram or Snapchat, and you put up a picture of a bonfire. And I was like, Tyler, you're doing the exact opposite of what we are. You're here to protect us from the fire, and you're starting one. It's like you want to sit down after a long day of dealing with fires just to build your own fire.
Yeah,
and watch
it's pretty ironic. But the funny part is, me and 4 or 5 other people I know, in the fire department stuff, my age, a little older, a little younger, they're having a bonfire. We all go over and hang out and stuff like that. We can get 7 of us and we can't start a bonfire. The little joke is, man, we're firefighters. We can put it out, but we can't start a fire. I guess it's just something.
That's better than being able to start one and not put one out.
I mean, I guess it's just, I guess we're subconsciously so used to, fighting fire, putting out, that when we try and start one, we're like, wait a minute. Our subconscious is like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's that same thing. I work at a hotel, and it's like when you're cleaning up, just cleaning up the room after someone just stayed there. If you see, they barely stayed in the room, didn't even use the bed, but your boss wants you to take the sheets off anyway, you're like, it's against everything in my nature to do this right now. It's like the same thing, once you touch a light bulb once, never to do that again. It's like trying to stick your hand right back over something that is going to be hot. It's like, it's that physical nature. They can't do that.
Yep, it's weird. I mean, it's weird to think about it, but it's truth.
Is there, any talents besides being able to climb a ladder faster as a firefighter that you've noticed that helps you, just around the house? Because, I know when your mom's like, I need you to go up on the roof and put up Christmas lights, you're up there, probably half a second up that ladder.
Not really. You see all this stuff, but, you just take that and just incorporate all of your training into your everyday life if you can. Just because it's fire training don't mean you can't use it. The ladder safety and all this other stuff, taking care of everything. And if we're cooking or something, someone burns some food or something, we'll take a box fan, because we have the fans, we'll stick it in. You can stick it in the window facing out, and it'll suck the smoke right out. That's what we use for ventilating a house. You can take a lot from the fire department and incorporate it into your actual everyday life in some way. You're going to have to tweak it and, figure out how you can use it, but in the long run, you'll be able to figure a way out. Our ladders are no different than anyone else's. They're just straight. They're used for the same thing, climbing up houses and trees and all this other stuff.
That's probably the biggest pain in the ass, is probably setting up, the hoses and stuff when you roll up to a job site.
Hoses aren't that bad, because we pack them every time we get done with a fire or something. We pack them. We have a saying: make it parade ready, make it pretty, like you're going through a parade. Because if it's packed good, it pulls good. So
you take care of your equipment take care of you.
Yep, pretty much. We clean it, keep it clean, keep it packed neat and organized, keep everything organized and cleaned. That's the best part.
Now I remember when I was still in school, they put fire equipment on us to feel how heavy the actual gear is. They didn't put the full gear on, but they put the tank on. That is not light, man.
It's heavy, man.
Trying to move through a fire with that heavy equipment, that's got to be a challenge.
You got to have
itself.
good stamina, and you just have to have endurance. You just got to keep going. Most of the time, your adrenaline's pumping, but I know, I'm about 205. I just put on my bunker pants and jacket. That'll put me at about 250, 260. Put the air pack on, I'm at about 290. I get a hook and a hose, pulling the hose through there. I'm 320 easy. Then I'm done. You're adding another 150 some odd pounds to yourself.
And you would think that we could make something, instead of, delay time on the next smartphone and take maybe a couple minutes to actually think of a new suit that a firefighter or law enforcement can wear that could protect them from the dangers they're facing.
Yeah,
a lighter kind of.
It would be nice to be lighter, but the way we look at it, it's not broken. Don't fix it. If it's still working, keep using it.
That equipment's been around for a while.
If all I'm worried about is when I'm going to that burning building, that my gear does the job it's supposed to. Fire gear is not fireproof. It's fire resistant.
You have a giant tank on your back too. You got to think if that thing explodes.
Air tank, anything can happen. You get a small leak in your air tank or something like that. It's going to shoot off like a rocket. It's an oxygen tank.
That doesn't scare you, putting that on your back?
Nope.
You got to push that out of your mind and just think.
If it happens, we'll cross the bridge when it happens. That's the way we look at it. We don't worry about nothing happening to us. We're just worried about putting out the fire and looking out for each other. We put all of our fears away when we run into that house.
Does it ever give you a little bit of anxiety seeing, like on TV, or not just like in real time, like real life, but in a movie, seeing a fire and then knowing like, just the thought of like, what's that guy dealing with? Is he thinking about that? Is he thinking about this?
That's the funny thing. Like all of us in the fire department, some of the older, movies, like Backdraft and Ladder 49 and all this other stuff. I mean, you're watching this, you watch 911, Chicago Fire and all these TV shows and movies, and we're all watching it. We're like, that's not what you would do. This is what you would do. You can pick out what they're doing wrong on the TV. They're projecting the wrong image.
But you're not really like aggressive towards it, like just against it. Like, I wouldn't have made that choice. You wouldn't have been like that. Like that's the wrong thing. That's why that happened. You're more like, I can see from both sides where in that situation they were rushing and trying to figure out, and it's hard to come to a level mind when you're at that situation.
Yeah, you're making split-second decisions. I mean, matter of seconds, you gotta make a decision. Yes or no, go or don't go. And once you make that decision, don't second guess it. Just go with it.
So you're pretty set in the ways, just how everything runs now. You're not willing to change anything in our fire department. Like if someone promoted you to the head of the company, or not really company, but head of the department, and was like, hey, what would you change? What would you add? What would you add? What would you drop? There's nothing you would change differently?
No, I mean, just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, what we're doing is we're doing it right. I mean, nothing's wrong.
Definitely make sure that your guys are in good morale when you guys...
Yeah, I mean, everyone's usually pretty good when we go to the firehouse, even after like a bad call.
You haven't come across any babies on the doorstep?
No.
That's always a fear. You get back from a call and there's just a baby sitting there. Whose baby's this?
Yeah. No. Not worried about that, But
you probably get treats all the time from a lot of these older folk that live out here. Probably bring you some cookies or something around the holidays. Bring you something.
Well, it's like for Santa rides, going around for Santa band. People make cookies for Santa and give us to the fire department. They give donations and everything.
You ever just wear your jacket or something? I mean, besides the comfortability factor, but just kind of like to see if anybody like gives you a compliment or anything?
Not really. I mean...
It's because you're a good man. You don't have that fake honor like some people do.
I mean, when we wear our fire department stuff and our apparel, it's not to, I'm a firefighter.
Give me a high five.
Yeah, hey, yeah, no. I mean, we just wear it, one, because it's comfortable and warm, but two, because, who cares? I mean, we're just like anybody else,
That's a great way to think of it, man, seriously. Like, a lot of people would let all that go to their head, and then after they actually experience one little bit of fire thing, they're kind of out of it. Like, it's not for me. It's like, you really? And then they still go around.
It's not for the weak. I will say that. It's not for the weak.
You develop PTSD. You can develop PTSD really doing anything, but that's a major one, too, that a lot of people don't think about. They think, when I say PTSD, what's the first career that comes into your head?
The military, but...
Exactly. War.
It's not just that.
Anywhere,
it's
man.
law enforcement, fire department, paramedics, EMTs, nurses, doctors. Anybody can have PTSD.
You can get PTSD from brushing your teeth, fearing that you're going to go too far in the back of your throat and start choking.
It's anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm 21 years old, and there's calls that I've been on that I wish I could forget, and I hope nobody sees what I've seen in their lifetime.
Would you influence your kid to be in the fire department at all? Would you set them up for that?
When I have kids, yeah. If they want to be it, yeah, I'm not going to stop them.
I feel like a lot of cops, like when they have kids, either they're pro their kid being in law enforcement, or they've seen so many things where they're like, don't even think about it. If you're a cop, use your brain, do something different. It's like you have an amazing job, but I understand it's because you went through something.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you're a parent, you want the best for your kid, but you also want them to be safe. Law enforcement and fire department, they're besides the military, they're two of the most dangerous jobs out there. Law enforcement, you get shot at, and fire departments run into burning buildings that can collapse on us at any time. But if that's what your kid wants to do, don't stop them. Don't stop their dreams. Let them
go after their passion.
Yeah, that's the worst thing to do is to, crush a little kid's dreams.
And that's a very few elite people that can handle that job. So it's like, as many of those people as we can possibly get is the better.
Yeah, especially if right now with the volunteer
it's got to be hurting a little bit.
Departments, it's helps slacking down in the volunteer departments.
Well, it's just such a small clique.
Yeah, and people look at it this way: why am I just going to be a volunteer firefighter when I can go through the same schooling and get a job making $40,000 a year starting off? Do it for free or do it for money,
and do it for safety as well.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I said, it takes an elite group of guys, and I just want to say, even though we're friends, and anything I really say is like, all right, Robbie, I know what you really do, though. It's like, at the same time, I thank you for your service and just that whole thing. I mean, just volunteering for that. Like, I'm not trying to belittle fire department here at all. If anything, I respect you guys a lot. I always give you guys the right of way, obviously, when I'm driving. Mostly because you're in this massive vehicle and I'm in my small little car. I'm like, if they honestly, one dude's pissed off enough, he needs to get somewhere, he's going to just push me out of his way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I see the good parts about it, especially that siren. I feel like that would be the main reason, just trying to get through a red light. Like, all right, look, I'm gonna turn this on real quick, even though it's unethical. But
really, fire trucks and emergency vehicles are really not legally allowed to run a red light. The only vehicle allowed to legally run a red light is a mail truck, a federal mail truck.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
You got to think the government, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, legally, but, no one's going to stop a fire truck. No one's going to stop an ambulance.
I'm not going to stop a fire truck.
No one's going to stop a police car.
I get behind you.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, I'm with the fire truck. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, got groceries in the car as well, man. I got to get my ice cream home, but this guy's, he's heading in my area. I set my house on fire so he can get me to my house faster.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people complain about us and stuff, but at the end of the day,
what do they complain about?
It's just they just.
Besides, you didn't do something right or you didn't save this.
They just don't think we do much, whether it's career or volunteer. They just think we just sit around, don't do much. It's not the truth.
What are you gonna do? Have to force a fire to happen?
Yeah,
it's not something.
It's
that's
a good thing when you don't have fires or accidents. It's a good thing.
It's like, be happy that we're here if something does go wrong.
But the thing is, though, if it was them or someone in their family, they would be the ones that want us there as fast as possible. They'll want
That's the same thing with police officers.
Yep, when they want us,
you want to sit there and complain about them, but then when someone breaks into your house, you need somebody.
You're gonna want them there first.
You're gonna call them like, hey, even though I've talked so much shit on you, I appreciate you taking the time to find my things.
It's the world you live in. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. But
that's got to be something where even if has anybody ever given you crap at a store or just said something out loud that it's like, really, why would you say that? It's like,
no, not really. I mean, around here, it's just everyone understands and respects us and stuff. But I mean, you do see some videos, on Facebook and stuff, because I follow other fire departments, around the country and stuff, just to follow them and just see what they do. I mean, you see them, there'll be a career company, they'll go to Walmart or something and go buy groceries on shift, for the firehouse. You have different shifts. You have A, B, C, D, whatever shifts, they go buy it for the week for the whole department for the shifts, so they have breakfast and all that, and people complain, why are you here buying groceries and not, fighting a fire? Well, there's no fire, there's no accident.
Sorry, I have to live a life.
We're getting this for the department so we can eat and everyone else can eat tonight. And they're like, what happens if you have a call? You're not going to go. You can't go. We're like, that's why we have our pagers and our radios. We get a call, we're dropping everything and going. I mean, plain and simple. Man. I mean, I've been in Walmart checkout and gotten toned
You're
out
paying
for
for
a call.
groceries, pull out your wallet, and next thing you know, you got a call, and it's like,
yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, but all right, here, swipe it for whatever I got and just run.
Do you have to go to the call with your groceries in the car?
Yeah, if it happens, it happens.
Dude, if I got something like, ice cream in my car, it's getting home first. I'm sorry. I guess that's why I can't be a fire department, but...
It is what it is. The way I look at it, oh, well, if it melts, freezer refreeze it, and if not...
You're going through a fire. The last thing I want to bring is my ice cream. You know what I mean? Yep. Yeah, man, but I definitely wanted to thank you a little bit on that. Now, getting into the whole aspect of being a hunter...
Oh, that's a whole different story.
How far down this rabbit hole do you want to go? Because we understand your influence for being a fire department comes from childhood, just wanting to be, influenced by your family and all that. It's something they did, and you saw that as something cool. Now, what about hunting? Is that an influence as well? Do you have anybody that brought you on your first hunting trip when you were little? And tell me a little bit about that.
Pretty much my dad, everyone on my dad's side, my uncles, my grandfather, and all that. As soon as I got old enough, I was 6 years old, I think, when I got my first BB gun. Just starting off young, just gun
Shooting
safety.
squirrels in the backyard.
Yeah, pretty much shooting cans, whatever. Go get my hunter safety when I was like 8 or 9. And ever since then, just work up.
How many hunts do you think you've been on?
I've been hunting since I was 8, so.
So if you averaged how many hunts a year?
That's a hard one. Pretty much,
You've been on a lot.
Yeah, because, whitetail deer archery season opens in September. And you have pretty much from September to like January, beginning of March for, hunting for like deer, ducks, geese, and then in April and May you got turkey. So, you got pretty much half a year of hunting.
The reason why I asked you was because, I know you're a hunter, but there are some people out there that go on one hunt, then buy a camo jacket and start walking around saying, oh yeah, I hunt, and go the whole redneck personality type deal. It's like, that's okay. Well, do you know the seasons? Do you know all that? And then they're like, this, I did this, I shot a deer one time. It's like, no, man, you can't just start talking with an accent after you've been hunting.
No,
it's not something that...
It's not that just the fact of going hunting. What we do, we hunt, and we hunt not just to hunt for fun, but we hunt for the meat and everything like that, so we can have, food to eat in the winter, so it cuts down on grocery bills.
What's the best thing you've hunted that you've eaten?
Probably whitetail deer. It's real lean. It's a dark red meat like beef, but it's real lean. It doesn't have much fat, so it's healthier than beef.
Now, this question I'm about to ask you is about to lead to another question right after it.
Hey, that's fine. Fire away.
The deer you hunt, you make deer jerky?
Yeah.
Deer steaks?
Deer steaks, deer jerky, deer sausage, deer bologna.
Do I have to pay you to send you on a trip or get some deer meat off of you? Because I eat deer meat like it's nobody's business, and I don't have any hunting friends that I can contact easily that have a good amount of it for me to get.
Anytime you want. Pretty much.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just shoot me. I'll shoot you a text when I shoot another deer and we start getting meat.
Next time you get deer meat, please shoot me a text. I don't care what time of day it is. If it's 2 a.m, I will come to your house and I will pick up the deer meat. You don't have to do a single thing.
Oh, I will. Don't trust me, I will, because it's me, my dad, and my brother hunting, and me and my brother, my dad eat it some, but me and my brother are the one that mostly eats it, so, if me and my dad and my brother eat,
Do you make your own deer jerky?
Well, actually, we send it all off to hawkers.
Dude, if you get me some deer jerky, I will love you forever. I already do, but it's like,
oh yeah.
At the same time, it's like, oh man, that's the one thing. It's like, because I'm not the whole hunting type. I've never been hunting. It's something I have to ask you. Would you ever take me on a hunting trip?
If you got your hunting license, yeah. You just got to do it legally.
No, obviously, we're not going to go out there secret style. Have me all right, look, if you shoot anything, I'm gonna say I shot it, so we're good. No, nothing like that. But that's something I definitely want to do, man. I try to get into shooting guns. I understand the whole aspect of shooting guns. You're holding a weapon that can actually potentially hurt you or hurt somebody else, and at the same time, it's like a fire. Something can go wrong.
Yeah, anything can go wrong.
Especially if it's not cleaned properly and all that. But at the same time, it's like I'm pro hunting for sure. I'm pro gun. I'm pro all that. I think people should definitely have the right to protect themselves. And this is going to go down a couple other questions in a different rabbit hole, but when it comes to the amount, you're hunting not for sport, you're hunting for fun, but you're also hunting for
fun,
food,
meat.
You're getting something out of it.
The memories.
You're that's a close relationship. Bond that you create with your family.
I remember my very first deer that I shot with my grandfather out of his oldest stand. I remember that. I remember my very first, goose hunt, and all this stuff. I remember when I didn't have my license, my dad would go goose hunting, with my uncle and all that, he would bring me along. I had my BB gun, we're sitting in the blind, you brush it up, and, you see these little blackbirds and stuff, I would shoot them while they're shooting the geese. I mean, it's not all about actually going out. And, yeah, it's great when you actually go out and you kill something and get something, for the food and stuff like that. But you can, sit around, sit in the deer stand, and you can just talk and BS and just have a good time. If you don't see nothing, so what? You had a good time,
You have to admit that, going all the way out there, lugging out all this stuff and taking all this time, getting dirty, especially if it's in like bad weather type conditions, you're getting soaked, mud all over you. That's got to suck if you don't catch anything.
Well, it's just like last Saturday when it was pouring rain here. Me and my dad and another boy that I work with, we went duck hunting. Pouring rain, just getting soaking wet. But, we actually ended up getting something, so.
At least there was some benefit out of there. A lot of times, a lot of people underestimate how many hunts you actually go out on and catch something.
Yeah,
it's not like every single hunt you're going to catch something. It doesn't, that never really happens.
You go out there in the hope of getting something, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, can't force it either.
There was a time, I went 4 years without killing a deer. Just didn't see anything. It happens. There's nothing you can do about it.
Does that camo really work?
Yeah.
It actually kind of blends you in. Is that because they can't see like a certain...
Well, with white-tailed deer, they really look off of movement, but the thing is, though, they can't see color. They see like a UV light. Like you take like a black light and it's, your clothes glow, have like a glow to them like the UV. That's what they see. But really, the deer go off of their hearing and their smell. Now, turkeys and...
You have to spray yourself down.
Yeah, scent control and stuff like that. You don't know. You could be hunting, deer could come out 100 yards from you or come 1 yard from you out of the woods. You just never know.
It's probably best not to eat a bean burrito from like Taco Bell when you're going out there.
Yeah, not a good idea.
If you rip it up out there, a deer's going to know. There's somebody shitting in the bushes over here.
Yeah, it happens, but yeah, you also just got to play the wind, If I'm hunting,
See, that's where I think I'd fall out of hunting because I let them rip sometimes, man. Sometimes I'm like, hey, man, shit happens.
You just got to do what you got to do.
Literally, shit happens.
Oh, yeah, I know. But,
does that answer the question, does a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah.
Does?
Yeah.
Thought so. A lot of people didn't know that. So like a little riddle on a Laffy Taffy. Does a bear shit in the woods? But I know you say white-tailed deer. Anything else specific? Turkeys?
Turkeys, Canadian geese, snow geese, ducks in general. Your mallards, your wood ducks, your redheads, your canvasbacks, everything else.
Are you pretty educated on every single one?
Pretty much.
Did you just pick that up from learning, from watching, or experience, or is that something
experience
from a book?
Watching the hunting channel and that's going hunting. Really.
What always amazes me is when you see somebody like who golfs and watches golf. I can't watch golf, but I realize that's somebody else's hobby and passion that they can get interested in. It's the same kind of thing with hunting. I try and get involved in it. I think everybody's more obsessed. Like, hunting shows aren't really that popular just because they see it and they go, look at this guy. He went all the way out there and didn't catch anything. It's like, okay, you're not going to catch, everything every single time, but they have to make the show interesting as well. And, try and make it suspenseful. Oh, we're about to get this. Oh, we missed.
That's why it's called hunting, not killing. It's just like fishing. That's why it's called fishing, not catching.
It's such a primal thing, too, man.
Yeah,
hunting and gathering has been around since...
it goes back to the furthest and oldest roots of time.
Being a hunter or a gatherer. Did you know in actually 1859, it was an English settler that brought over 10 rabbits. He introduced 10 rabbits to Australia. And by the 1920s, there was over 10 billion. So that populated the whole...
shows you how much a population can grow under the right conditions.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand the benefits of hunting, too, when it comes to controlling populations. Like, you get all... How much do those vegans or vegetarians piss you off, dude? They would piss me off pretty bad, especially with how they protest and try and get all this stuff
hunting,
banned.
Why are you killing this little rabbit and all this? I'm like, well, first off, that can be my dinner. Second off, trying to control the population. You don't want millions and millions of rabbits, you got to control the population. It's just like with anything else, any other wildlife game. I mean, there's set limits that you can kill or can get per day, so you can control the population correctly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have vegan friends and I have vegetarian.
Oh yeah,
friends.
I mean, I do too. But
at the same time, it's like the one thing I don't really like about vegans is they won't stop telling you they're vegan. Mm-hmm. It's like, my buddy is a very good guy, like, and he does not push himself onto anybody about his veganism.
Yep. But then you get other ones, like,
oh,
look, hey, I'm vegan. Hey, do it. It's great.
I check your Instagram. About 8 months ago, you had a cheeseburger from Applebee's. It's like, yeah, how long you been vegan? Oh, well, when 2 months after that, I actually did this change, and I've noticed a complete difference. It's like, okay, so you're not eating the fast food anymore, but at the same time, it's like, meat is good. The body needs.
You got to have your meat because your red meat's has your iron for your blood.
You can't live off beans. There's so many studies that's why I want to get him on the podcast, is I want him to explain to me about the whole vegan side. Like, there's no way your body's going to be able to last like that forever. There's no proper nutrients.
You don't get protein
just off plants.
I mean, your protein's coming from your meat, pretty much.
Yeah. Unless he's supplementing with something else, like some type of powder or something.
I mean, that's the only way, really. If you're just eating lettuce and salads and all this, you're not getting no protein. You're not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a clean eater, but I always like chicken, and it's a salad. But, not like French fries or anything.
Oh, no. I mean, it's just like me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a good greasy cheeseburger, but, I mean, I can... whenever I get a salad, I mean, it's not just going to be vegetables, I'm going to have some grilled chicken or something in it, some type of meat or something.
A lot of people argue the fact that hunting should be, is not really, I mean, it's not necessary anymore. Like, we don't need it to survive. Like, hunting doesn't need to be like a type of thing. Like, you have to go out and get this food or we're not going to have food. We have, companies
you have the grocery stores and stuff like that.
I believe it's a lot better than having, your... like, if I was able to get meat from you whenever you hunted, like you did that as a career, like went out there and people paid you to go hunting and like send you all these trips and stuff.
Yeah.
I would definitely want my meat knowing it came from just like you killed it and got it, because it definitely is.
It's not going through all the processing, chemicals, and all that stuff. They put so many GMOs in the foods and grocery stores today. It's a lot. I mean, our definitely health and the economy and all that has definitely. I wouldn't say the economy, but like just the culture and everybody around here is kind of it's downpouring in the world just because there's so many things, health risks. Yep.
They got to put a warning. If you have to put a warning on a package of meat that says, could contain this, could contain that, and you start reading the ingredients.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
why
like,
would
when
you
does it come down to the basic meats?
Yeah,
I mean, you got to think back in the day when hunting was originally established. There were people, when they were eating the rabbit or whatever they were cooking, they'd be sitting at the dinner table biting into something like a steak or something like chicken, and they spit out some lead. That's in there because they hunted and killed that. Even though that's not good health benefits wise, it's at the same time, at least it came from you.
Yeah.
That's got to be a great feeling, sitting down after a long hunt and having this animal in front of you that you killed and you get to eat. That's got to be such a sense of accomplishment.
Me personally, I'd much rather eat something that I killed than go to the store. Not just because, it's cheaper, but there's nothing better, you go out, you get a nice deer, you hang it up, you skin it, and you take, the tenderloin or whatever literally off of it, and slice it and fry it up. But then, as soon as you take it off, the deer pretty much off the bone, slice it on the pan, it can be 5 minutes. You can't get no fresher than that. It's the best.
It's like cooking up a Hot Pocket, man. It's like, it's hot and ready. Even though Hot Pockets aren't really fresh, but...
Hey, don't get me wrong. I can tear up some Hot Pockets.
Dude, yeah, pizza for sure.
Oh, the pizza ones, the ham and cheese.
Philly cheesesteak, dog.
Philly cheesesteak. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking about processed foods too much. Now, but for sure, just vegans and all that, they want to tell you they're vegan and they want you to change your lifestyle to eat like that. And it's not even the real vegans; it's the fake ones, the ones
the one that changed 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's not
the ones that have been vegan pretty much 5-6 years.
Just because the art of hunting is not necessary really anymore. It's still a fun hobby.
Yeah,
and it's also like you're not wasting anything.
It's a sport.
Now, how bad does it piss you off when you see somebody who's hunting and then doing everything illegal and wrong that kind of just downplays the whole sport?
It pisses me off. I'm out here doing everything legally, busting my ass off, doing everything I can, and you're coming here middle of the goddamn night shooting 7 deer out of the field.
It's not even your property either.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's my property, property or not. I mean, you're coming out here, you're spotlighting, they're hunting illegally or doing whatever.
No, I meant like for them going out onto someone else's property. That happens around here too. My buddy had like 3 different deer that were just found dead on his property. Like, he thought they were animal attacks, but no. Then he started looking closely, and there were bullets in them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came onto his property, shot the deer, and didn't even have the courtesy to pick it up and take the meat and make something out of it. He just killed them and left them there.
Yep, that's what they'll do.
You got to think that that animal could suffer too, man. Because your job being a hunter, not only if you have being passionate, is
you don't want to wound them. You want an ethical, clean, quick kill.
Now, that's the basics probably in anything if you're going to learn. You know, you want to ethically do something right.
Yes.
Especially because you don't want the animal to be in pain unless you're some heartless guy.
The worst feeling, when you're deer hunting, you're going to shoot a deer and
it can move and it can accidentally miss something.
Sometimes they're going to fall right there and be done. That's great. But other times, I've tracked a deer for 3 miles.
You feel bad when you're tracking it?
I feel, when I start tracking, and you start tracking, just earlier this year, my brother shot a deer, and we tracked it for a good 2.5 miles. We tracked it for 3-4 hours. I never found it. And, after we tracked it, you're tracking it that long, you're like, well, if we haven't found it yet, I don't think we're going to find it. You probably just put a bad shot on it. We don't want it to suffer, but on the other hand, you got to think too, well, if he runs off another 1.5 miles and dies, we don't find it, you're just giving back to the nature. The foxes and stuff will eat it, but
there's a right way to leave it. If you don't
it's just people that shoot them and don't make an attempt to find them is the problem.
Yeah.
They don't shoot them, they don't fall right there.
The one that are just out there for the kill.
The enjoyment, just for the kill, yeah.
Trophy hunting, a lot of people see as bad. It's actually beneficial because in Namibia, I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably butchering that, but a lot of where like African game hunting is, what they do is like people pay like insane amount of money to hunt like a rhino or something, and a lot of people are like, aren't those animals endangered? No, because what they like, the government and everybody likes that. They're
bringing them in to hunt them, but then when they kill them, they give the meat to the villagers and they get to keep the trophy.
Not only that too, they're also using that money to breed more rhinos.
Yeah.
So if there's a population or something, if somebody comes in, I'll give you $1 million to hunt this. Okay, we're going to use this $1 million to put into further breeding of these over here. And then, it does become selective kind of breeding where they're just breeding them for game hunts. But it's also keeping that animal alive.
Yeah, it's keeping that species alive. It's giving the villagers
good and bad
there.
Parts
Yeah, there's good and bad to everything. It really is.
Cake's good, but it's also not very good for you.
Yeah, but that's with anything. If it's good, it's not good for you.
Yeah. For me, when it comes to hunting, just because that's not something I have the accessibility to.
Yeah.
Just when it comes to, I don't own any guns. I don't, they say when you bring a gun in the house, it increases your 80%. It increases the accidents of a gun going off by 80% chance. It's like, okay, that's like building a pool in your backyard, and then now
you're 80% chance of drowning.
Like you have a bigger chance of drowning, obviously. But I'm not going to go out there and jump in and do that. Yeah.
It's all about gun safety. All my guns, we have 2 gun safes in the house. One in my dad's room and his closet, and one in my room. All the guns are cleaned. All the ammunition's locked in the gun safe, and the guns are locked in the gun safe. So the only time they come out is when we're getting ready to go hunt. So we'll get them out the night before, get them out, see if they need to be cleaned up just a little bit, and then when we're done hunting, they go back in there.
My biggest fear is having a gun in the house, and then not somebody using it, but like somebody hurting themselves with it or snapping. You don't know, man. Like you can have my buddy, his mom, like I was very close with, and it was a rough thing, but she wasn't in the right mental situation, and she got her gun and shot herself, and it was something, it's heartbreaking, and it's just the fact, like there should be checks on mental status and everything.
Yeah,
You do own a gun,
with
but at the same
the guns,
time,
they should go further into.
you should
the
do at least
background
a
checks.
routine check every now and again. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's hard to control every single gun out there. It's impossible, but the right way is not eliminating the factor of guns.
No.
That's not the right
You
thing at
just
all.
you're trying to take our guns away, and
Criminals are always going to get guns.
yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're taking guns away from good people to protect themselves, but the criminals, they're going to get the guns no matter what. They don't care about the law. That's why they're criminals.
Everyone has the right to arm themselves.
It's
too.
the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Our founding fathers wrote it in there. The right to bear arms.
Yeah. Jinx.
Yeah.
The right to bear arms. That does not mean
And
grizzly bear arms. That means guns.
the right to bear arms and the Constitution wasn't just the right to bear arms to protect ourselves. It's to allow the citizens to have guns just in case something would happen and you would need a militia or something like that. That's why the right
from
to
a
bear
government
arms.
uprising.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. It's made to where the government has an AR-15. We can have an AR-15. So if we go up against the government, it's an equal fight.
That was a big thing. They tried making illegal AR-15s. Isn't there a certain style now that you can't have?
You can have them. It's just different states have different laws.
And then you can be grandfathered in.
If you already had it, you're grandfathered in and stuff like that. But it's just like it can't have a certain size barrel. It has to be a certain weight. It has to, you're not going to have no fully automatic weapons.
It's the primal fact of not hunting, but the fact that we're so obsessed with war, dude. Mm-hmm. You got to think, we're creating more guns. Do we really need any more guns? I'm pretty sure there's enough guns out in the world, but the newer stuff keeps coming out. We still keep manufacturing thousands
There's enough guns out in the world right now. I think I saw this a year or two ago. There's enough guns out in the world that if you divide them evenly, every person will have about 15 guns.
And we're still making them, dude. It's the same thing with porn. Who's jacked off to every single porn video out there? And they're still making it.
It's something that's never going to die out. I mean, it's good. I mean, new technology comes out every year for the guns. Make them lighter, more accurate. You know what I mean? It's
safer too.
Yeah, safer. I mean, that's the bottom line: is safety. I mean,
I think everyone should know how to shoot a gun. Even if you don't want to own one.
If you don't want to own one, it's a good thing to have and to know how to do, just in case you don't know. You can come over to my house and we can be playing Xbox or something. Some guy can break in the house and shoot me, and I have my gun whatever out for self-defense or whatever, and you might have to use it. I mean, it's a good thing for everyone to know, just for safety and self-defense.
Dude, I remember playing Call of Duty and shooting, there's guns all littered through video games, violence, blood.
It is. I mean,
that's a giant thing for propaganda when it comes to the fact of people joining our military too. They think it's going to be just like Call of Duty. It's nothing like that.
No, it's not.
But at the same time, when you are shooting a gun in a game, and then I remember I was like, damn, I want to shoot a gun real bad. Yeah, I actually shot a gun for the first time, and I was interested in it, but at the same time, I understand now when I even play the games that have first person shooters like that.
Yep.
Now when I play them, I understand that's guns. I think of stuff like that gun's probably heavy, even though it's just a guy in a video game. It's like at the same time, it's like I understand how dangerous the weapon actually is too.
I mean, it's a lethal weapon. It can kill you. I mean, that's the bottom line with any gun. I mean, it's pretty much a gun's purpose is to kill.
It's to effectively eliminate a target.
But to make it easier on people to understand is, kill.
But everyone...
No, it's protection.
Everyone should at least handle a firearm once in their life, especially when it comes to people that are so against it and they've never fired off a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to understand, if I gave that person a gun and that person was like, I'm not going to shoot my family, obviously... Okay, that's the same way the other guys think it too. Just because you're saying that, it increases the gun violence in the home. If I give you this gun, are you going to shoot your family? No. Okay, then. It's the same thing with somebody else's thinking. There's just an elite group of people that get flashed on the news that have a mental breakdown or something, and next thing you know, everyone's against guns. That's not what it should be.
And it's the very small population with anything. It takes a few to ruin it for everybody.
What's your favorite gun if you had to choose one?
Oh. Probably, if I could choose and have one, would probably be a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Have you ever shot one?
Yeah. I know people have them.
And now, if you could pick a gun that was ridiculous that you'd want, that you don't have to shoot it, but you saw something in like a video game that would be pretty sick.
Probably the Barrett 50 cal.
Oh, dude, that's a Modern Warfare 2 gun, isn't it?
Modern Warfare 2, 3.
That educates so many people on guns too, man. That's your gun training there.
You got to think too. I mean, most of the guns in the video games are actual guns. You know, like
dude, the executioner would be mine.
The ACR, you know, stuff like that. You know, the M4, M16, you know, all that stuff. I mean, they're actual real guns.
The executioner would be mine.
Yeah.
My buddy had one. It was a judge, is what they call it.
Yeah, it's called a judge. It shoots a 410.
Shoots like a shotgun shell.
It shoots a 410 shell.
Pistol.
Yeah, and a pistol revolver. Yeah.
That's just the fact of like, you know, you don't even need to load that thing with bullets. Just carrying that around, nobody's really gonna be like, all right, yeah, that's badass. It's like when you see the giant state troopers with the giant magnum on the side. It's like that's so like you don't really need that.
Yeah, I mean it's
when you watch The Walking Dead and you see Rick pull out his gun and you know,
oh yeah,
yeah, you're like that's the gun.
Oh yeah, that's the thing though. I mean, they look cool, but they have a purpose.
Yeah, it's not really like it's not really good to keep around just because you know how big that thing is. Trying to pull that out of the holster, you know how long that would take.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
It's so before we skipped off the whole hunting factor, but what's the most dangerous animal that you've probably hunted?
Around here, there's really no dangerous animals.
You've never ran into like a coyote or something?
The coyotes and foxes, they're going to run away from you before they do anything. They're more scared of you than you are of them.
It's actually with coyotes, they leave, and then if you wait probably like 45 minutes or close to an hour, they'll come back with a group. Like if it's just you.
Yeah, but I mean,
did you know they do that in like anywhere? Like if you run across a coyote and you're with your dog and your dog starts playing with the coyote, there's people that were taking videos of their dogs playing with the coyote for 30 minutes, you know, playing around. Then the coyote would leave and these people were just on a mountain walk. A group of coyotes will come up. It actually happened, I forgot where, if it was Arkansas or somewhere, Colorado, somewhere out in the mountains. This woman got her dog killed because she thought she was taking a video saying, "Yeah, well, my dog's playing with the coyote, you know, they're not as bad." The coyote left and brought back a group.
Yeah,
what they do is they're testing the animal.
Yeah, it's an outside animal. I mean, that's their pack's territory. I mean, and this dog, I mean, he's not part of the pack, so he's an enemy. That's pretty much how they see it.
And they're looking for food too, man. They've been out there for a while, and they're probably not getting a whole lot. Yeah,
no, they eat anything. They can
see, I always took for granted. I think I went on one hunting trip, you know, and my buddy was hunting like raccoons and stuff, and you know, I remember just the power I thought I had with that gun, but realizing like I can't see anything if I go out there, and it's like at the same time, I think there's temporary hunting license, right? I thought I got something that you can shoot that you didn't need a license for.
I don't know. I don't know if that was, you know. I know now. I don't think there is. I think it's a yearly thing. You buy it for a year, but I don't know. I really don't know because I mean I've been hunting since I've been 8, so pretty much I've been buying a full hunt.
Well, if it was illegal, then I didn't know at the time, so I apologize for that. But I remember chasing after a raccoon with this like I forgot what type of shotgun it was. It was like something. I couldn't tell you. I don't think it was an over and under. It was something like you don't use for hunting at all. You know what an over and under is?
Over and under, side by side, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. I think I'm saying that right. But I ran after this raccoon because I saw it and I was chasing after it and I went completely into the dark and I'm like, there's other things out here. I'm in Snow Hill at the time, like near the vocational school. And I'm like, I just ran out in the complete darkness. My buddy can't see me. Nobody knows that, like exactly my location. You know, what happens if something just came across and got me?
I mean, that's...
Especially a group of raccoons. Next thing you know, I don't want to be sitting in the news or sitting on the news and this guy died by a swarm of raccoons. You know how embarrassing that would be? You know, I mean, just the fact of rabies, too.
I mean, you just got to think, I mean, yeah, a raccoon's not going to turn around and attack a human, but that's with anything. You corner it, it's gonna fight. I mean, it's the fight or flight. I mean, you get backed up into a corner, are you gonna fight or no? I mean, yeah, I mean,
I was just obsessed with the idea of chasing after something, that thrill, that adrenaline rush you get, which is what a lot of hunters go for.
oh yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, I guarantee you, if I would have caught up to that raccoon, I didn't actually catch it, but it's like if I would have got up there and got up to it, and I wouldn't have probably the balls to even pull the trigger on it. I do love animals a little too much, but I wouldn't stop anybody from hunting, especially when it comes to the meat. I understand that's something that we got to eat too. It's like, I'm not going to be against that, especially if you're hunting not for just the thrill of the hunt, but hunting for the fact of actually using and benefiting from its resources and everything. That's there's nothing wrong with that in my mind, and I definitely believe some people are a little bit independent when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Just the fact of like they're thinking like, oh, you're just killing an animal because you like to kill animals. No, they're killing an animal to either bring back food for their family or, for the thrill of the actual sport, and then also benefiting from the meal that you get to bring home and cook up yourself.
yeah.
How bad does it anger you when you see a dead deer on the side of the road and that's a waste of meat? I don't even hunt, and I see a dead deer on the side of the road, I'm like, that's a freaking waste of meat, man.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's nature. I mean, it's a circle of life.
Like I said, yeah, it keeps the population down, too.
I mean, it's a circle of life. I mean, deer get hit by a car. I mean, it's just circle of life, man. It happens. I mean, there's nothing you can do to control it. I mean,
animals kill other animals. We're animals. We kill other animals. We kill each other, too.
Yeah, I mean, just...
Especially when it comes to government, and you got to realize, like, you see American Sniper or something like that. You're like, that's a badass war movie. That is propaganda for the military, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That is basically like, hey, you leave that movie theater like, I'm going to go enlist in our military. Like, even though they went through some shit, but it's like at the same time, it's showing you, like, how badass, like, you see those, and then you're like, all right, our troops are badass, man. I mean, I see cops, a lot of kids our age, take for granted just law enforcement in general. Like when it comes to, you see a cop, you're like, oh, look at that pig. Oh, he's doing his job. What? You're doing something illegal and he catches you in the crime of it? Yeah, there's some of them that take it to the extent like, dude, I was going like 2 miles over the speed limit. Do you really need to pull me over? It's their job, and some of them, give you a little bit leniency on it, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, I'm not going to argue and be a dick just because I'm pissed off about something. Usually I'm pissed off about something else, and it's like I don't need to put my anger out on you.
Yeah.
So the worst thing you've ever hunted, you didn't really give me something.
There's really not any predators here that
is there
pose
anything
a threat.
that you would be afraid to hunt, like if you had to choose? Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Don't say Bigfoot's not real. I am a firm believer of Bigfoot, even though he's probably not. I'd like to think he's out there.
Bigfoot's real.
He's out there.
He's out there somewhere. Probably either a lion or a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
You gotta think those are the two top of the chain predators. I mean,
and they're too separate. So they're so far apart too, man. You picked like two animals that are like completely different in every single way. You got the big ass bear.
You got a big bear, but you gotta think. I mean, he's 1,500 some pounds, and they can run 30 miles an hour on all four. I mean, coming at you. I mean,
he's fast too,
and he's big. I mean, his
but a lion's light, small. You don't hear them.
You're not
suckers,
gonna hear
man.
them. I mean,
a bear. You see them stand up like people.
Oh, you see him stand up. You can hear him. I mean,
did you see that? You watch Meat Eater with Steven Ranella, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, half of that show, it's interesting because they have interesting people on there, especially somebody I like, Joe Rogan and all that. But, like I said, I was watching like 5 episodes at like 3 a.m. trying to get ready to ask you some like good questions. I was trying to think, what can I ask a hunter? And, they didn't catch anything for like the first couple of episodes. And I'm sitting there and they started talking about it, like, you don't catch everything every single time. It's hard to make a show interesting when you don't get anything. And I understand that too, but it's the physical aspect. You're out there hanging out with your friends too, man. You're out there enjoying it. You're making memories too.
Yep.
This is something you're going to be sitting by a fire that I can't believe our fire department is building on their days off from fighting these things.
Hey.
But you're creating stories, like memories you're going to be able to share a beer over, man.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years down the road, you're out there with your buddies having a beer. Oh, remember that hunt we had, 20 years ago? It was a great hunt and this and that,
They had a great story of the one dude was hunting a bear, and he took a video of it. He got too close to the bear. I don't know if it was Steven Ranella or Cameron something, another popular hunter that's friends with him. But he had his gun in the video looked like it was like out of ammo, like when it's kind of popped out a little bit. The bullets that he had that were in the magazine didn't fit in the barrel of the gun, so he had to physically load in the bullets. And he didn't know it at the time. So this bear starts charging at him, a big, like, grizzly bear or brown bear.
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole logistics. Apparently, if a bear's a certain, awake during certain type of hibernation time, it's a different style of bear or something. But he started charging at him because he was too close to his cubs. Mm-hmm. So this bear's charging at him, and thank God it turned off and went away at, last minute. But it's like, his gun didn't even work, and he didn't know. It was jammed. It wouldn't have fired. It wouldn't have done anything. He would have to, after he shot, he would have had to physically reload the bullet out of the mag and then put it into the top and then close it that way. He didn't even know. He didn't find out until later. And he was like, you got this video, and then now telling people about this, everyone's like, why would you ever go hunting again? It's not going to deter you. I mean,
no.
You get in a car accident, are you going to stop driving? Some people might, but...
No, I mean...
anything really can happen anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't let...
But you picked a bear and a lion, dude. A bear and a lion. That's two different environments. That's two completely different animals' hunting styles.
They're two animals that are far away from me.
But, yeah. Out here, I mean, what's the most common thing you probably shoot besides deer is a duck, right?
Yeah, deer, duck, and geese. That's about it.
And going out into a duck blind and just going out there, that's got to be the funnest one. You don't have to move a whole lot. When you're tracking a deer, it's like you got to...
When you're deer hunting, you got to be real quiet and still.
The birds got to kind of come to you.
Yeah, I mean...
That's just because, the fact...
Waiting. I mean, you're putting your decoys out and you're just sitting there and waiting.
I mean, you can't track and hunt a duck. I mean,
No.
You're not following that thing through the woods. That thing just flies off and it's gone. It's miles away by the time you're even 10 steps down the road. It's like... But with a deer, it's a little bit different because it's got legs that can run out of energy. I mean, ducks have energy and all that too, but at the same time, if flight is a major
advantage.
Major advantage.
Yeah.
Hiding in a duck blind's got to be fun, man. You get to sit in that cozy thing with a shotgun.
Yeah, I won't say cozy.
Dude, I was in one that was pretty comfortable. Had a heater in there. I was pretty stoked.
Yeah, that's the deluxe one. Most of the time you're sitting there, it's, you're sitting there, wind blowing right in your face, freezing cold, snowing.
Walking through muck, too.
Muck, ice, all this stuff. I mean,
gotta put in those waders.
I've been in the waders, and I've been on some cold hunts, standing in the water, waist deep, and you get done, take your waders off, and they're still standing straight up because they're so frozen. It's so cold. It's.
But you still do it anyway, man.
Oh yeah, it don't bother me. I enjoy it. I mean, it can be.
Oh, dude.
I mean, last year I was just hunting. Wind was going about probably 20, 30 miles an hour, and it was cold. I mean, it was probably like a -5 with a wind chill. I was out there hunting.
-5 with wind chill, and you were out there hunting.
Yeah.
Freezing your ass off.
Hey, that's why you layer up.
That's 5 pairs of socks, 10 pairs of underwear, and 3 jackets, man.
Nah, that's where a lot of people mess up. I mean, you think you gotta put on 15, 20 different layers, but then when you sweat, that's when you get cold.
Oh yeah, but you gotta think though. That would be understandable if you're hunting like deer, but you're sitting in a box, man. You're not moving around a whole lot. So how are you gonna get warm? You're kind of just
sit there and deal with it.
Because I know when I go to the gym and I'm working out, like I'll heading there, especially in this like times and days, dude, it is cold as hell. But I'm wearing like joggers and I'm wearing like a shirt. And I run out to my car, get in the heat, drive there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm freezing. And then once I get there and I start working out, I leave the gym like, start taking layers off.
Yeah,
stripping before I even get in the house.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Mom's like, put a jacket in your car. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that happens to me. I go to the gym, shorts, t-shirt, middle of winter. You work out and you come outside, it'd be cold and windy, and you're just so hot, and you just start steaming because you've been sweating and you're just hot.
Take your shirt off and just end up sitting in the wind.
Yeah.
It's 3 degrees outside, it's snowing, but I don't care.
Oh yeah,
it's comfortable.
Oh yeah.
trying to think of something else to ask you on hunting here. What would you educate me on if I was willing to go out and hunt? What was the first thing you would take me into the process of doing besides getting my license?
Get your license.
Teaching me the equipment that I'm going out there with you.
You know, pick out the equipment you need. You know, make sure it fits right and it's comfortable, and then go out to the range and get you comfortable shooting whatever gun you're going to go hunting with.
Are you more comfortable hunting with family than hunting with friends?
I mean, it don't bother me. I mean, I'll hunt with friends, family, whatever.
You don't ever get the fear that, something might snap. You hear about, like, the ending American Sniper. That dude went to a gun range and shot his...
Nope. I'm not worried about any of that.
That's good. I mean, that's also, like, the worst possible case scenario. Something like that can happen. That would just always be on my mind. I'm not comfortable around guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, some people aren't. Some people get really uncomfortable around them.
I mean, I respect somebody that, like, owns one. I wouldn't take yours away, but, like, I feel like if I'm around somewhere with guns and you're walking around the house, like, don't get me wrong. I had one buddy that would walk around the house with his gun unloaded. Probably wasn't even set up to fire. Probably was missing a couple pieces because he disassembles his and does all that, cleans it.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that, like, having a gun pointed at you, whether it's fake, whether it's real, it's a big scare, man.
Yeah,
especially when they're walking around the house. They might not be pointing it at you. They just might, here, hold this up and take a picture. It's still like, all right, look, man. It's something that hits in the back of your head. Like, I'm a little bit nervous to be around you just because of the fact.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just gotta treat every gun as in if it was real, whether it's a toy gun or not. I mean, you gotta treat it as if it's real and if it's loaded.
That's the first thing, especially when you're hunting with someone or you're shooting clays. Mm-hmm. I've shot a crap ton of clays. I love that, dude. That's fun. Yeah. Especially, I was always the best at chucking them, dude. I get that little thing and throw it like a frisbee. Yeah. But just shooting them, like, I'm pretty dead on accurate for someone that doesn't really like using guns that much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm Billy the Kid, bro.
Yeah.
Billy the Kid. I would rock in the Old West. Why is it easier for me to be able to shoot somebody than shoot an animal? I'm not saying I want to go out in the street and shoot anybody, but I feel
no, I understand what you're trying to say. I mean,
it seems like it's a little bit more easier to shoot somebody, like another person, than it is to...
Because you can have a problem with the person, you can have a fight, you can have a disagreement, you can have anger towards them.
But it's the same factor when you're watching a movie and you see a dog die.
Yeah.
You're more upset about the dog dying than the person.
Yeah, I mean, you get attached to animals, humans. Yeah, you might get attached, to like your girlfriend, boyfriend, or something like that. But someone really pisses you off, and you have a fight and an argument. I mean, you have all that anger. I mean,
now when I think of killing somebody, I was talking about like Old West style, not like I'm gonna go and snap on my girlfriend because she didn't cook the dinner right. No, that'd be terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm
not that bad of a guy.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just saying it's just there's a lot of factors that go into why it's easier to do something like that.
And that is what really kind of sucks about hunting and all just gun control in general. A lot of people look at the bad stuff in the news and don't even pay attention to the benefits that it's something that it can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I mean, not just because it provides for people's families, but look, a lot of people like guns. It's a big revenue.
One thing I really do want to ask you actually is, you ever had a lot of people call it an epiphany. I call it a transcendental moment, where it's like a moment. Usually it's like with a sunset or something. You ever had a moment on a hunt where you're like, you don't even have to shoot anything, or it could be something you shot, but just something where you're like, this is what life's about. I'm loving life right now. Just an enjoyment and overall happiness with everything that's clicked.
That happens every morning when I'm hunting. Every time I go hunt, every morning, you're sitting there, like in the goose blind and stuff, or duck blind, you're sitting there and you just watch the sunrise. You're like, I'm just glad to be out here in Mother Nature and enjoying all God's creations. You're at peace. It's nice.
It's definitely, I feel like even sometimes I'll take a nice little coffee and sit out on the back porch and just, everything's quiet. It's so early in the morning, and just hearing the trees sway and hearing just the crickets chirp, or just the birds, anything. It's just that wind rustling. It's beautiful, dude.
Yep, it's It's just relaxing.
I'm definitely a big nature guy, especially when it comes to camping. Man, I love camping. Would you ever want to take a trip somewhere like Yellowstone, like with a couple of friends?
Oh yeah, I love camping.
Not even just the aspect of camping, but going on a hunting trip, like packing up all this gear. Would you ever want to go do that?
Oh yeah,
we should plan a trip, dude. We should go to like the Rocky Mountains or something, or somewhere where we can actually go game hunt, or not game hunting, but actually hunt for something, and we should just go out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fun, it's the journey, it's the memories.
Is there a split, like an exact memory? I know you say every morning, but is there an exact memory that you can remember? It could be recently, it can be way, way, way in the past. It could be something where you're like, it just all clicked. Like it was like, damn, like I'm ready to wake up the next day. You could be having a rough month, and it was just like, this is what I want. Like this is the beauty in life. I see it now. Because it's hard. A lot of people have those moments, and they don't really recognize it when it happens. Mine can be something stupid, me just sitting in my house and seeing, like the orange sunset glow and something through the window or something that just clicks.
I mean, it's little things. I mean, it's usually the little things that mean the most.
Yeah, it's got to be good for you just because since you're a hunt, early in the morning, it's probably the best time. Mm-hmm. Nobody's up. There's no assholes on the road yet.
Nope, it's nice. I'm up 4:30 in the morning.
I always get like, my buddies are always asking me like, why are you up so early in the morning? I get up early in the morning because nobody's up.
It's peaceful.
Yeah, there ain't shit to do at 3 in the morning, but at the same time, it's like I can do what I want to do. I can enjoy what I want to enjoy, and I don't mind going to bed early just because I can get up early and enjoy everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's nice, get up early to go hunting, and, I got to drive, and you're on the road, and there's nobody else on the road. I mean, you just take your time,
You don't have to rush. You don't have to sit in line at a gas pump.
Nope, you ain't got to wait on nobody. Nobody's...
There's something cool about waking up before the sun's up. You feel like you're beating the world a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're like, man, the sun ain't up, I'm up, it's going to be a good day, I can get a lot done.
And the next thing you slack off or do something for like the next couple hours. What did I do all day? Oh yeah, watched TV and sat on my ass.
Oh yeah, I got up at 6 o'clock, did something like 7, and I fell asleep till like 12. Oh.
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah, and then you sleep and repeat.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm an early riser, and some people complain about that just because like, why are you sending me Snapchats so early in the morning? It's sorry, I have trouble sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, that's me. I mean, I'm up early every morning. I mean, I don't have to be to work to Snow Hill at 7:30, but I'm up.
You gotta grab life, man. You can't
I'm up at like 5:30 in the morning. I mean,
there's so many people that just stay in the bed and they sleep till like 6 p.m. and then they're up all night. It's like, that's cool too for you. I mean, if you enjoy that, but you can't be spending your whole life inside too, man. If you go out and catch the world,
you gotta go out and enjoy your life. I mean, you gotta go out and do what you want.
Best memories and dreams I've ever had were from moments in my life where I was waking up doing jet skis at 6 a.m. in the morning, like right when the sun was coming up, right till when the sun would go down, and watching those sunrises and sunsets from Assateague, the orange and glow. Dude, I'm just so obsessed with nature in that aspect. It's where I love bonfires. I love that type of thing. Just hearing the crackling of the logs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you the fact that you still enjoy camping and love doing that, even with being a firefighter, just the dangers that you know about fire. That's pretty cool too.
It's nice, but it's hard to find time to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot on the plate.
Especially from going from when you're a kid and like everything's a little bit more accessible. Like, I mean, you don't have a vehicle yet, but you always have your weekends to go. If you want to, you don't have big plans. You don't have other stuff to do. But then once you get older, you got a job. You gotta volunteer stuff. You got friends that still want to hang out with you that you don't get to really see anymore because of the fact that you're just so busy with work.
Oh, I mean,
when you're off, they're working, and then...
I mean, it's not like, back in high school, everyone goes to school Monday through Friday and the weekends.
And then you have the weekends,
you can do whatever you want. Now it's, I work 8 hours a day Monday through Friday. I come home, do yard work, stuff around the house, go... bait up deer stands, do stuff. Then you go, I'm hunting.
And all you want to do
hunting Saturday. I get up early, hunt Saturday, and then.
And all you want to do is sit down for 2 minutes and play Xbox. And as soon as you sit down and get in the game lobby with your friends, next thing you know, you got a fire call. You got to go out to. Sorry guys, I got to go.
It's a lot. It's a lot to balance. A lot to
I commend you for it, bro, because that's something, like I said, a lot of people like me wouldn't be able to do. If I just get home and I had a long-ass day and I just hit the bed and, something rings off on my phone, I mean,
there's been times, we get toned out, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and, I'm out to 4:30, 5 o'clock. I come home, shower, and I'm turning right around going to work for 8 hours.
Do you ever feel bad about missing a call?
Sometimes, yeah. It all depends on the call.
It happens, dude. It's not like you have to make it to
first,
every single
when you're
one,
first
but
in there, you don't want to miss any calls. But then, I've been in there, since I was 14, so, like 7 years. You just come to understand it. Look, I'm not going to make every call. I'm just make as many as I can. You don't need. There's no need to beat yourself.
Well, you're
up
not Superman, man.
No.
A lot of people don't understand that.
No,
that was terrible. You're not Superman, man. But you're not going to make every single call. It's not going to happen.
You're not, and it's just you gotta understand it. And
a lot of people have a false like we were talking about earlier, where people expect a lot from you. That you can't do everything. You don't have 8 different hands. You're not 8 different people. You're not. You're not Superman.
No, but we
law enforcement
we
isn't
try.
either. You're not perfect. You're not anything near the sort. Nobody in this world is perfect. But you try your best, and that's all we can ask from you, and that's all we can appreciate you for.
We just try all we can.
I know the main reason I've been trying to get people on this podcast that I find interesting and have. I started realizing everyone's got a story, man. I say it on every single podcast.
Oh, yeah. Everyone has a story, and different people have different sides to the same story.
People are probably hearing it because they're probably sick of me saying it, but everyone's got a story to tell, even no matter what age you're at, whether you're 20, whether you're 80, whether you're 100. Everyone's got something that shaped them in some type of way. You've grown. You're the same age as me, and, we're both in our 20s, and it's like, you're completely different from how I am. Just how you were raised, I'm raised, right now I'm wearing a beanie, wearing a Saints jersey, even though I'm not really a Saints fan, but, I'm like the more, like, chilled out kind of vibe, and you're wearing, your tan pants, and you're wearing your fire jacket, and you're wearing, the classic redneck style I would see. I hope that doesn't offend you. No. But it's like, everyone looks at you and says, he probably puts a good dip in, and then, they look at me and like, that kid probably smokes a bunch of crack. No, not crack, but,
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying. Everyone has their own personality and their own style, and
that's what I think is a beautiful thing about people.
It's
no matter, even if your personality is a bit like, jerkish or asshole-ish, it's at the same time, you got to think, like, that's just how that person grew up in life. You don't have to be that way. And a lot of people don't understand that, especially when it comes to just being a good person, man. It doesn't take much.
No,
it takes more muscles to frown than smile.
Yep.
And that's something, it's a good note, really, to focus on. And I appreciate you doing the podcast, man. I really do.
No problem.
Especially 2 days away for Christmas, bro.
Yeah.
And I know you told me, I was expecting you earlier, like an hour before, and then you were like, oh, sorry, man, I was doing last-minute Christmas shopping. How big of a fear is that for you right now? Because I spent $200 this morning. Let me tell you something. I'm a little bit, hurting in the bank account department.
Well, I'm hurting pretty good because between my girlfriend, my mom, my dad, my brother, and everyone else, I probably spent $1,000.
Did you treat yourself to anything?
I much rather treat everyone else. I'm not.
That's how I am too, man.
I'm not worried about.
Dude, I tried to buy a $5 game, and I don't really play games that much anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I saw something else that was a little bit more money, and I was like, somebody could, have this for Christmas. Just seeing that face, and I didn't ask for anything either, man.
I didn't ask for nothing for Christmas. I'm like, look, I'm not worried about anything. If y'all are gonna get me anything, just get me gift cards or something like that, like something cheap. Like I'm not worried about. I don't need no clothes.
My family doesn't believe me, but I have a shoebox in my room still filled with every single Christmas card and birthday card I get, because my birthday is only a week from Christmas, so it's like, I have them all, and I have one from my great grandfather that it says inside the card like a giant saying, like, he wrote everything out and circled the words that were important to him, and he's the one guy that understood when I say don't put the money in the card, don't put the money in the card, because as soon as you open it up and it flies out, then you look like a jerk like you were only opening up the card to get the money out.
And then you don't even read it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I put the money to the side and I read the words and I look. I'm like, you didn't circle this one. Like, you know, I see you underline this one once and underline this one twice. They notice that, man, and they don't know if they're doing it for your, like, just for them, or they don't know if you're doing it because you actually care. And it's like, no, I have a shoebox. My great grandfather's not around anymore. I have a shoebox that has not him in it, but has his card in there, and it's like having him in there.
Yeah,
it is like, you know, I can read it and I can hear his voice in my head, and just knowing like the compliments he was giving me, like, you're an amazing, you know, great grandson. You know, they don't make a card for your great grandson. They don't make anything for like that, but
no.
It's just, it's wonderful to read something like that and know that, you know, there was someone in your life that, you know, is not here anymore, but they left a part of, you know, they left the world knowing, you know, a good side of you.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
that's why I aspire to be, you know, nice every time I go out and try and be as friendly as possible to people, because I would like, you know, if we're not here forever. They're not here forever. It's even if you run into them once in your life, you don't know if you can run into them again. You don't know if, you know, maybe that person knows somebody in your family. You don't know how many times I've been out in public, been really nice to somebody, even though I have had a completely different thought about them. And next thing I know, they're walking into my house like, holy crap, small world. It's like, oh, you know my mom. Oh, you know my dad. Oh, you know my brother. It's like, oh, thank God I wasn't a jerk to you, even though you upset me and yelled at me. It's like, they feel bad sometimes if they yell at you, and the next thing you know, you're meeting them like 10 minutes later, like, oh, you know, imagine you meet your girlfriend's dad outside of before you met your girlfriend, and you're at a grocery store, you guys get into an argument or a fight, and the next thing you know, you're going over to your girlfriend's house to meet her parents, and it's the guy from the grocery store that's took the last chicken.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know. I mean, it's a small world. You're gonna run into people.
It's the best
people
thing.
Know people.
Treat somebody. You know, that's what it's the best thing to treat somebody the way you want to be treated. Don't treat them, you know, bad, because it doesn't feel good. First of all, and I mean, like I said, it takes more muscles to frown than smile.
Yes, it does.
And like I said, man, I appreciate you, especially doing the podcast, agreeing to it, especially since I asked you yesterday. You were like, yeah, dude, I'm down for sure. What time you want me there? 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I'm an early riser, too. I'll be up brewing a coffee at 4 in the morning. But I appreciate you, especially doing it 2 days right before Christmas, man. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And don't forget, I'm going to be messaging you, wishing you a Merry Christmas, and also messaging you about some deer meat.
Oh, yeah. Well, once I get some, man, I will.
You're going to be bringing me mounds of it. I mean, I will come over to your house with buckets and buckets, and we will just pile. I will go find deer and just get, like, we will go. Like, I'll drive you anywhere you want to go to get this deer meat.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right, brother. Thanks for being on the podcast.
No problem.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank. Stay tuned for more episodes, and a big shout out and thank you for all the men and women who serve to protect us every day, whether it's fire department, law enforcement, or our local military.